Arno managed, and now he will talk to you about the guide to scholarly indexes, because that is and continues to be challenging but important for Diamond Open Access. Arno.
Yes, thank you for the introduction and the invitation also to talk about this output. So it's a bit like the previous one. It's another reference output from the project, except that this one wasn't planned to be a care at the beginning, but then after some presentation to the public, it seemed that the result was found satisfying enough to precisely become something we could promote a bit more. So we hope that from the title you already kind of understand what is the output. So it's a guide to scholarly indexes, meaning it's a guide that explains, that describes the indexes or databases or any services referencing scholarly contents, that is academic publications. And so the main objective of this work was to help you, whoever you is. It's mostly the publishers, open access, Diamond Open Access publishers obviously, but it can be also actually publishing services, to help you find your way in all these precisely services that describes and reference academic publications, because as you know, they have many different requirements, they have many conditions, and they have also a very diverse level of information given to their users. So the main purposes, as you can see here, were to help first the Diamond Open Access publishers to understand this diversity of the landscape of academic, of scholarly indexes, that we call in a short way scholarly indexes. I want to specify each time that it can be any type of index, and to identify the appropriate index for their own needs, because this is something that is difficult to do when you don't know all the specification of all the services. And also the other aspect, in that sense, that's how the output, it's somehow original, is to find all the information in just one place with always the same structures that allows precisely to make this comparison between all the services. And so, as for the contents, I didn't put here screenshots because it would have been a bit difficult to see all the data that you have. But basically, what you have are the characteristics of these indexes, their different types, either their workflow processes, if they collect data automatically, if you have to send data, and all that kinds of aspects that defines these scholarly indexes. You have also a distinction between the technical requirements, that is requirements mainly regarding metadata standards, metadata quality, extension, and so on, and also editorial requirements, because precisely in some scholarly indexes, as you may know, you have also requirements that concern the editorial aspects, the rhythm of publication, the number of publication, that kind of things. And precisely as we have this guide that is supposed to integrate any kind of index, we need to describe all these specific aspects. And so here you just have a very short list of the examples of the indexes that we have currently in our guide. So you have the OAJ, you have Web of Science, OpenLX. So you see it's very different kinds of services listed there. So I also insist here very quickly that it's not, we didn't provide a step-by-step documentation for each of these indexes. It's just a summary of documentation about these indexes. And so how does it look? So you cannot see it, but you have the links, you will have the slides, I assume, later, so you will have the possibility to have a look to that. So the guide currently has two forms. So you have what we call the knowledge base, which is a spreadsheet containing all the indexes following the template that we have set up for describing the indexes. And you have what we call the catalog, which is basically the same information, but this time on a GitHub repository, which individual files for all the repositories, for all the indexes. So this is the status of the outputs currently, and they can be used. They can correspond to different kinds of use based on what you're more comfortable with. And mention also, you will listen later during the conference about the plugin, the guide to Scholar indexes is also accessible through the Discord plugin that was developed also on the Web Package 5. And so, just to close now, quickly, so the next steps are to first expand a bit the list, being mindful of the needs in terms of maintenance. So we can, it's not that we want to expand the list to hundreds of indexes, but currently we have 20, and obviously we can expand that a little. We want also to collect feedback, so you've heard maybe some of you about the EDCH forum later. We have a specific topic on the EDCH forum for the guide to collect feedback on the current information, to make suggestions about new indexes, make suggestions of additional information, for instance. And we want also to improve a bit readability and usability. So like I said, currently we have two outputs. One is a spreadsheet, the other one is a GitHub repository. It's maybe not the most user-friendly format for anyone, actually, I don't want to specify. And and precisely in that regard, we want to, at least for some indexes, the most important ones, especially the ones where some documentation is lacking. So it's not the case of the OAJ or OpenAir, for instance, but in some other indexes, it could be useful to have step-by-step documentation. This one, yes, being much more explicit about the requirements of the indexes. And so that's where we are, and so we have something to validate the web package, but there are also work to do later, which is nice. Thank you.